This is Complex Conversations, the future of sports media, featuring our host, sports journalist and ESPN television anchor, Rachel Nichols. Author, entrepreneur, and creator of the documentary Religion of Sports, Gotham Chopra. Sports agent and co-founder of LRMR Sports Agency, Maverick Carter. Winner of 4 gold medals at the X Games, professional street skateboarder and actor, Paul P-Rod Rodriguez. You're invited to the conversation.
One of the big things that we want to talk about today is storytelling, because that's really the essence of how athletes want to communicate with their fans. It's how teams can sort of get people engaged. And storytelling has changed so much. Used to be when you went through typical sort of old school media, there would be little bits here and there, and athletes didn't really have control of how they told their stories and the kinds of stories they wanted to tell. So I want these guys to sort of start out by talking a little bit about why it's so important to have all of these new kinds of media and some of the things that you have been able to do that you maybe couldn't have done in the old days.
It is unlike any time in the history of humankind, honestly. You know, with the technology we have now, we all have cameras in our pockets. We all have social media accounts. We all have distribution. So it is a unique time to be a storyteller. You have athletes now, obviously. You have team owners that are storytellers. Everybody has a story to tell. So how do we what differentiates stories and makes them sort of interesting? Honesty, authenticity. They need to be inspiring. They need to be good. And so I think that's also the new sort of stage that we're moving into, because anybody can sort of take a camera and put it on themselves and do selfies and videos and all of that. But there's still there's an art to storytelling.
Wait, this stuff needs to be good?
Yeah. I mean, for anyone to care about it.
The angles that Gotham shoots at has to be right, too.
Right, there's that, too.
So, I think there's still, storytelling is still really important, and that's a craft. Mm-hmm. That's something that you learn and that you practice and that you get better at the more you do it, and the more you work with people. So I think that's, again, one of the unique things. Storytelling is also, it takes a village to do it right. Mm-hmm. I don't really hold the camera. I have a DP do that, but I have a great team around me. So I think it's an incredible time. And then to sort of build broader strategies to reach bigger and bigger audiences.
Just to keep on storytelling for a minute, P-Rod, when you can sort of give someone the whole picture, why is that so important to you as opposed to just the little bits that slip out when you're not in charge of what you're saying?
Well, it's because it's like he just said, straight from the source. It's uninterrupted. It's not no one coming in and chiming in or taking a snippet of what you said and reframing it in their way of seeing it. You can tell your story. You have now a voice on your own to clarify what you mean. So that's super valuable in this day and age, because beforehand it was just like the only time you get coverage, it was in other people's hands to take what you say and report it to the world.
Right.
Now this time you have a voice like, wait a minute, I may have said that, but they took that out of context. Here's my context. Here's why I'm saying it. Here's what I meant. Here's why that sentence made sense.
Before I start peppering Maverick with questions, everybody knows what Uninterrupted is, right? Yes. Do you want to start by kind of explaining how you guys came up with the idea for it? Because I think that's such a big part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think building on what Gotham said and what we're here to talk about is, sports media or media, but ultimately, whether it's media, whether it's sports, whether it's brand building. I started my career at Nike. I mean, ultimately, Nike's I think they're the greatest storytelling company in the world. I think they tell better stories, or as good as stories, as Disney, Warner Brothers, all the companies who that's what they do. They just happen to tell stories that helps them sell products. So I think, storytelling it's the ultimate. The best story always wins. I mean, you can make a great product, I can make a great product, but who can tell the best story about that product that people really relate to is ultimately the winner. So at Uninterrupted, our goal is to help athletes tell the best stories, really work with them and help them, mine for great stories about their life, and then tell them and work with people like Gotham and other people on our team who can help them really, as he said, it takes a village. We provide that village around a guy like Chris Bosh around other athletes that we're working with, Draymond Green, around Serena Williams, to help them really truly tell their story. Because ultimately for them, that brings people closer to them, gets them what they want. They want more fans, but fans want to know more about you, and they want to hear your story told in the proper way, in the most creative way. So that's what we do at Uninterrupted. Our goal is to work with athletes to help them tell their story from their perspective. And obviously there's gigantic media companies like the one Rachel works for, the biggest sports media company in the world. Does everyone in the room know what ESPN is? If anyone wants to know, Rachel would be happy should be standing out in the hallway after and explaining to you exactly what ESPN is, what they do. But there's gigantic media companies like ESPN, which also do a fantastic job of telling stories, but they have to cover so many stories across the globe, so wide, that sometimes ESPN has to be a lot wider than they can deep. So our goal is to go deep with athletes right from the source and help them tell their stories. And we started the company when LeBron, my partner, decided to go back to Cleveland. He wrote a letter, and we published it in SI, and it was directly from the source. And in the letter, there's actually a line where he says, I'm writing this letter so I can do this without any interruption, without press people stopping him and asking him questions. And that's exactly where the brand came from. Uninterrupted is all about telling great stories with athletes.